Saraswati Vidyalaya Union High School and Junior College welcomes all the students of Standard 9. I, Mrs. Manisha Chaudhary from Saraswati Vidyalaya Union High School, is here to continue further with fifth part of Unit 4.3 Intellectual Rubbish. Last time the author was explaining about fear. He said to conquer fear is the beginning of wisdom. Let us see what else he says about fear. There are two ways of avoiding fear. One is by persuading ourselves that we are immune from disaster, and the other is by practice of sheer courage. The latter is difficult and to everybody becomes impossible at a certain point. The former has therefore always been more popular. Primitive magic has the purpose of securing safety either by injuring enemies or by protecting oneself by talismans, spells, or incantations. Without any essential change, belief in such ways of avoiding danger survived throughout the many centuries of civilization. Science has now lessened the belief in magic, but many people place more faith in mascots than they are willing to avow. Now, students, further, the author explains that there are two ways of avoiding fear. One is by persuading ourselves that we are immune from disaster. Immune means that we are not affected by disaster. Disasters are unexpected events like fire, earthquakes, floods, etc. That is one way. And the other way is by the practice of sheer courage. Now, courage means the ability to face pain without fear. Then he further says the latter, that is the second one. Okay, that is the practice of sheer courage. This is more difficult and to everybody it becomes impossible at a certain point. The former has therefore always been more popular. So the first one that is we should become immune from disaster. Persuading ourselves that we are immune from disaster. That is always been more popular. Then he further speaks, primitive magic, that is earlier stage, that magic has the purpose of securing safety, either by injuring enemies, either the enemies are injured to secure, or by protecting oneself by talismans. Now what are these talismans? A small object used to fetch good luck. Or by spells. Now spells means quality that has strong influence on you. Or incantations. Now incantation, magical words recited in the same tone. So all these were used for securing safety. Without any essential change, belief in such ways of avoiding danger survived throughout the many centuries of civilization. So this survived for many centuries of civilization. Science has now lessened. Now because of science, this all is lessened. The belief in magic. The belief in magic is now lessened. But many people place more faith in mascots. But still people have more faith in mascots. Now mascots means an animal or a toy or something, etc. that people believe will bring them good luck. And they are willing not to avow. Now avow means to say firmly and often publicly what your opinion is, what you think is true. Let us continue further. Neither a man, nor a crowd, nor a nation can be trusted to act humanly or to think sanely under the influence of a great fear. And for this reason, poltroons are more prone to cruelty than brave men and are also more prone to superstitions. Now, students, further the author says that neither a man, nor a crowd, nor a nation can be trusted to act humanly or to think sanely. Sanely means not mentally ill. A person having a proper mindset under the influence of a great fear. And for this reason, even poltroons, that is even cowards, are more prone to cruelty. So they are more prone to cruelty than brave men and are also more prone to superstitions. So it is the cowards who are more prone to cruelty at the same time towards superstitions also. Let's continue the next paragraph. But we have been getting too solemn. Superstitions are not always dark and cruel. Often they add to the gaiety of life. I received once a communication from the god Osiris giving me his telephone number. He lived at that time in a suburb of Boston. Although I did not enroll myself among his worshippers, his letter gave me pleasure. I have frequently received letters from men announcing themselves as the Messiah and urging me not to omit to mention this important fact in my lectures. So, further, the author is explaining, students, that we have been getting too solemn, that is serious. Superstitions are not always dark and cruel. So, sometimes superstitions are good also, he says. They are not always dark and cruel because they often add to the gaiety of life. Now, gaiety means a state or quality of being light-hearted or cheerful, because they make you sometimes cheerful. They make you light-hearted. Now, he is explaining further that I received once a communication from the god Osiris giving me his telephone number. He lived, one person who was staying in suburb of Boston, and although he did not enroll, the author did not enroll himself among his worshippers, still he is to get these letters, and most of the times the letters which he received, those people, they wanted him to not forget, not omit, okay, not to means forget, and not to leave their name as mentioning them as the Messiah. So these are the examples which the author is bringing to your notice, that those people wanted him to address them as a Messiah in his lectures. Now let's see further. I admire especially a certain prophetess who lived beside a lake in the northern New York state about the year 1820. She announced to her numerous followers that she possessed the power of walking on water, and that she proposed to do so at 11 o'clock on a certain morning. At the stated time, the faithful assembled in their thousands beside the lake. She spoke to them, saying, "Are you all entirely persuaded that I can walk on water?" With one voice they replied, "We are." In that case, she announced, "There is no need for me to do so." And they all went home much edified. Now the author further explains by giving an example of a prophetess. Now prophetess means a female saint, and this female prophetess, she lived in northern New York state in the year 1820, and she announced to her numerous followers that she possessed the power of walking on water. So she told her followers that she possessed the power of walking on water, and that she will show this demonstration at 11 o'clock on a certain morning. So, as she stated, her faithful followers, they assembled in their thousands beside that lake where she was supposed to walk on the water. And then she asked them one question. She spoke to them saying, "Are you all entirely persuaded that I can walk on water?" So first she asked them, "Do you all agree that I can walk on water?" And all her followers, with one voice, they replied, "We are." Then she said, "In that case," she announced, "there is no need for me to do so." And they all went home much edified. So her followers then went home edified. Edified means learnt a lesson, that is wiser. Perhaps the world would lose some of its interest and variety if such beliefs were wholly replaced by cold science. So further the author says that the world would lose all the interest and variety if all these beliefs, all these traditions were wholly, means completely replaced by cold science. Let's continue further. A wise man will enjoy the goods of which there is a plentiful supply, and of intellectual rubbish he will find an abundant diet. in our own age as in every other. So the author says that a wise man will enjoy all these goods, of which there is a plentiful supply, and of intellectual rubbish he will find an abundant diet. Means so many things he will find in our own age as in every other. So students, we saw here how the writer uses the phrase intellectual rubbish in this lesson to describe all false beliefs, baseless opinions, superstitions of various kinds. He highlights the deceptive attitude of people which stops mankind from walking on the path of knowledge and wisdom. He gives us plenty of solid examples to prove his assertions. With this, we have completed this lesson. So read the lesson properly, students. Thank you.